So I wanted to go over the trickle effect of Tom Brady leaving the Buccaneers, the NFL, and ultimately retiring for a second time. So the obvious first step in this domino effect is what are the Buccaneers going to do at quarterback? Currently, Kyle Trask is the only one on the roster. He'll be a third-year man out of Florida. Hasn't really played much. Then you got the two other guys who are free agents, leading to Ryan Griffin, who has not been offered a futures deal, and Blaine Gabbert, who continues to be an unrestricted free agent. Obviously, the Bucks knew what they were getting into, signing a 42-year-old quarterback a couple of years ago, and now with Trask being the only guy, second round pick, it seems that he'll be given somewhat of an opportunity. Next couple pieces are a little bit obscure. You got the 49ers, who are getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, not re signing him, and then going in with a hopefully fully healed Trey Lance and a Brock Purdy, who, despite his record, is coming off a UCL tear. They also continue to go down this road is what does Aaron Rodgers do? Does he stay in Green Bay? Rich Eisen brought up a really good point in the fact that Rodgers probably doesn't want to retire now because he'll be in the same Hall of Fame class as Tom Brady. So whether he returns to the Jets or he returns to the Packers or maybe kicks the tires on the Jets and reunites with Nathaniel Hackett, that remains to be seen. There's also Derek Carr. Derek Carr's tenure with the Raiders seemingly is over. He'll get one more opportunity to suit up in the Pro Bowl um, with this Pro Bowl games nonsense. So I don't even know if they're going to be wearing helmets or anything like that. So he might not actually have any Raiders apparel on moving forward on that. With Carr's status up in the air, whether he goes to the Jets, the 49ers, wherever team is looking for a quarterback, he's kind of the guy to begin this whole new domino effect as it did last year between Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, all this crazy stuff. So Derek Carr seems like the key focal because it only seems like Rodgers is going to go to New York or stay in Green Bay. Jordan Love goes into I believe, his final year of his contract. So, and they'll have to make a decision on that fifth year option pretty soon. So it's pretty interesting to see what goes on there. So Jordan Love, obviously a first round pick, 2020 draft, didn't really play much. Uh, hasn't played much over the last couple of years. Had a cameo appearance this year, and has been getting better steadily, but still hasn't put together at least 10 games of film. Remains to be seen on that. As a reminder, he was the backup to Tim Boyle, who was the second string quarterback his first year. So hopefully his development continues to progress. But it's pretty hard to get rid of a guy like Aaron Rodgers. But the Packers have done it before, a la Brett Favre, who ironically went to the Jets. The big thing with this quarterback domino is that I've talked to a couple people about this. Is this backlog of older quarterbacks at the QB1, QB2 position that because the rules favor quarterbacks, these guys aren't retiring at 34, 35 anymore. They're staying closer to that 38, 39, 40 range. Right now, there's only been about 8, 9, or 10 quarterbacks, I believe, that have retired over the past 2 seasons, but we're still continuing to see a backlog of guys like Chase Daniel, Nick Foles. You can even throw Andy Dalton, Chad Henne, and then obviously Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, guys like that who are still remaining in the league. So there's about 10 guys who are probably going to retire over the next 2 years, and that opens up the floodgates to new younger players. You can even throw guys like Ryan Griffin in there who, been in the league for a while, older guys, haven't really played much and kind of just on the team. Brian Hoyer is another perfect example. I think he's about 36 right now, getting older. So it's curious to see what, about 12 guys right now. Josh Johnson, another guy who's taking up a spot. And with these new alt leagues coming around, it adds as another avenue for these guys. It's the G League, essentially, the way the NBA rolls. Now these guys are getting game experience in the XFL and USFL. And it allows teams to evaluate this another version of football that's a little bit higher speed than the preseason because you're getting a lot of these practice squad and back end roster guys who are hungry for an opportunity to go to the NFL. So the competition should definitely be a lot better. With Brady leaving, it obviously opens up a whole nother, not only just one quarterback position, but several because everyone gets moved up. So now Brady's gone. There's a new starter in Carolina. There's a new QB3, a new QB2, possibly, and now there's a practice squad. So the trickle down effect hits it on a different level. Allows maybe an undrafted free agent to now sign with the practice squad, especially with Brady leaving. He always has his guys, his backups. Big reason why Brian Hoyer came back to the Patriots. Big reason Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin have stood around. Ryan Griffin is more famous for keeping Tom out of trouble rather than his play on the field. I think he's taken like 15 snaps and thrown like 4 or 5 passes in 2019 when Jameis Winston got hurt. All these different things obviously affect different parts of the game right now. It's pretty crazy to think that it's truly an end of an era. Fun fact: Tom Brady is the last professional athlete drafted by the Montreal Expos to retire. Um, and yeah, he's won a couple Super Bowls too, about 7 or so. So, with all that being said, it's going to be a crazy offseason. Just a little tidbit, just kind of still putting out some little bit of content here and there. And I wonder if it affects the XFL or the USFL as far as one of those guys now getting an opportunity versus maybe a younger undrafted free agent or seventh round pick. Maybe the Buccaneers look to pick some younger blood who actually has game experience, like Jordan Teamu or even Brett Hundley coming back to the league or Paxton Lynch. Paxton's a Florida guy, big dude. Maybe he puts together some games. He just goes from Orlando to Tampa Bay. So we'll see. We'll see the trickle effect, but definitely big news that's going to affect the rest of the NFL.